Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever podcast episode of Talks with Kiya. I'm your host, Kiya, and I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so thankful that you decided to tune in and join and listen to the podcast episode. This first episode, I just decided to make it about me. I decided to do a little get to know me a little bit because you're probably wondering, like, who is she and why is she starting podcasts? Like, I would be wondering that too, but actually no buts. That's it. That's the episode. I'm gonna keep it pretty short, this first one, and then the next one we'll really get into the juicy stuff and for longer episodes. Okay, so like I said before, my name's Kiya. I'm a high school student still, and I feel the need to mention this because although I am in high school, I do take college classes. All of my classes are out of college, so I feel the need to mention that because I'm gonna be mentioning it a lot. Yep, because that's all I do is school and school. That's pretty much it. And this podcast, yay! Yeah, and I guess that's it. I don't really have anything else more to share about me. Because I feel like you'll learn that more in the episodes as things go on and as this podcast is, I don't know. I don't know. But I guess a reason why I wanted to start a podcast, let's start from the very beginning, because I think this is a really great story. Or it's not, but I think it's funny. I wanted to start a podcast at the beginning of the year, or the end of last year in December and January, and I put it on my, what is it called? I put it on my vision board. Why? I couldn't even tell you, because before recently, I didn't really listen to podcasts like that, and I wasn't really into podcasts or audiobooks. I don't know why, but December and January, I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast, and I put a little, like, person editing something, I don't know, on my vision board. And I'm pretty sure it's Monet McMichael, if you know her from TikTok. I'm pretty sure it's her in the picture. I don't know. I found it off Pinterest. And I was like, yep, I'm going to start a podcast. Why? Like, you didn't listen to podcasts before this. I don't know. But I also feel like that, and I'm going to say that a lot. I feel like it's my favorite phrase to say. But I do feel like I talk a lot, and I think a podcast would be the best way to articulate what I'm thinking and kind of just have a spot to say what I'm thinking, because I do think a lot. I ponder, for sure. I ponder and I wonder. That's kind of who I am. I do a lot of thinking, and then I have no one to share my thinking with. So I feel like a podcast would be very beneficial for me, and also it'd be so fun to, like, look back at the episodes when I'm older and be like, wow, I made a podcast. Who does that? But yeah, I didn't really listen to podcasts before recently, and I'm gonna share exactly how I am now officially into podcasts, and I love them. I was on my way to a track meet, and I do a lot of sports, so track is not my main one, so I don't want to hear the questions about how fast you are, because I don't feel that fast sometimes. That's the truth. But I was on my way to a track meet, and this track meet was like 2.5 hours away. Girl, it was for districts, and it was very far from where my school was and where I live. So we got up early. We're on our way to the meet and stuff, and I'm low-key not happy about it. Like, I'm happy to be here. Obviously, I'm happy at how far I got, but I'm not happy that I had to get up at 6 a.m. to take this bus. But we know we're driving, and I was gonna put on music because that's what I normally do. However, my music things are not paid for, so it's either I listen to a playlist, which I've now listened to a million times, because I I just don't make playlists apparently because I have none. Like I have none that I have good songs on it. Or like I don't know, I haven't made any new playlists recently. So yeah, I was like, okay, it's either I listen to this playlist again or I go on Spotify and I listen to music with ads, and I didn't like either of those options. So I was like, I got it. I'll go on Spotify and I'll listen to a podcast. After not listening to any for like a little bit of a long time actually. So I was listening to A Better You podcast by Fernanda Ramirez, and I just decided this podcast because I watch her YouTube videos and I really like her YouTube videos, and I'm low-key like shouting her out right now, looking like I'm kidding, I'm not. If you watch her, you watch her, and me saying that I watch her, I don't think it's gonna make you watch her, but in case you do, I really enjoy her videos. She's really fun to watch. And so, but she started a podcast called A Better You podcast, and I was like, you know what? I'll just listen to a podcast because I have no music. And I was listening to the podcast and I was like, this is hitting. I was having the time of my life. Like I probably looked really sad because like I said, it was 8 a.m. and bro, that I never got motion sickness like that in my life. But that bus ride, whoo, yeah, I was feeling it. So I was like, you know what? I'll just start sleeping and listen to my podcast. So I probably missed like a little bit of the episodes I was listening to because I fell asleep in this bus ride. But it's fine because I woke up and I was like, yes, podcast, it's still playing. And so now I love podcasts. So like I go on a walk, I walk my dog, and I walk for however long the podcast I'm listening to is. Usually podcasts are from an average of like 30 to 40 minutes, at least the ones I listen to. So it's like a 30-40 minute walk, and I go two walks a day, or I try to. I've been doing that recently. I don't want to say I go on 2 walks a day, girl. I don't. I've been going on 2 walks a day for the past 2 days, in fact. I'm on day 3 and it's going great. And I listen to a podcast, and I actually enjoy it so much more than listening to music when I go on walks. I do enjoy walking. Not for any particular reason. I just like, it's like a way for me to be outside without being bored. And not needing to have people with me, you know. I can just go walk by myself and I'm chilling. I'm big chilling, you know. But if I just go and sit outside, then I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bored. There's nothing to really do out here. If only I was a kid again. But it's okay. But yeah, so I go around, I walk around with my dog, and I listen to a podcast episode. I just put one AirPod in because you need to be aware of your surroundings. And I feel very uncomfortable if I can't hear out of both ears, see out of both eyes, smell out of both nostrils. Like I feel really unsafe. So I just put one AirPod in, then I can hear from my other ear. You know, multitasking, yes. Actually, not multitasking, task stacking. Yes. I could talk about this in a different podcast episode. I'll talk about it in a future episode. But task stacking, I didn't really get it when I kept seeing it online. And then this one girl on YouTube, I'll find her video and I'll insert it right now. I'll do a little voiceover over the podcast at Sarah Pam on YouTube. And how she explained task stacking was so, like, it made so much sense to me. I'm like, oh, okay, no wonder why everyone's obsessed with it. Yes, sounds great. Basically what it is that while you're doing a task, you, in the spaces between when you're like, it's kind of like dead space or dead time. So when you're doing something, like if you're baking a cake and you're waiting for the cakes to bake, instead of just sitting there and waiting for them to bake, you could be making the frosting. So that's what task stacking is like when there's empty space when you're doing one task, you fill it with another task. So while you're walking, instead of walking in silence, you know, you could be listening to a podcast, maybe my podcast, I don't know, or listening to music, or being in a Zoom call. I'm not condoning that. be focused on your calls. But actually, for Zoom calls, all you gotta do is listen and speak. Unless said otherwise, I feel like you could walk in, be in a Zoom call, and be good. Honestly, I feel like there's not much more to say to that. But so that's what task stacking is, and if it still doesn't make sense, I don't blame you, because it's really confusing, honestly. But I really enjoy. I'm not gonna say that I don't really enjoy it, because I still don't understand it, and I'm still grasping the concept a little bit. But I like the idea. I like the idea of task stacking. Okay, practice episodes just to do to practice talking into my mic. Basically was just doing mic checks and to make sure that I don't sound really staticky, which I might, because I feel like I'm low-key talking loud. But I noticed it is really awkward. I'm not even gonna say that I feel comfortable talking all the time, because I don't. I just feel like I fake it till you make it, honestly. Like right now, you're like, she's so outgoing. Probably not, actually. Why do I keep saying that? Maybe you do. Maybe you are thinking, wow, she's so outgoing. She's so talkative. Like, oh, she probably talks to a lot of people. I don't. I'm actually very quiet sometimes. And I actually just listened to a podcast about how your ideas about yourself is how you will be, and how this girl who podcast it was, she was like, everyone said I was really quiet, and I thought I was really quiet. So then I was just quiet, and I was like, oh, that's low-key me. That's honestly me. But I was like, yeah, that's low-key me, honestly. Like, people are like, oh, you're so shy and quiet. And I go, man, I don't think I'm shy and quiet around some people. But then I'm like, yeah, I am shy and quiet. That's my excuse for not talking to people. Maybe I'm just choosing not to talk to people. I don't know. But if you haven't seen already that this podcast is really just gonna be me yapping, it's just gonna be me talking, because I enjoy it, because I like to talk. I don't know. And I said at the beginning that I'm like, this is gonna be a get to know me podcast, and I feel like I haven't said any of that. I said what? My name, my age, and how I didn't listen to podcasts before starting one. I don't know. I guess I said why I decided to start a podcast. I think I'm still figuring out my reasoning for that. This podcast is just a space where I can share my thinking, share what I think. And another reason why it's called Talks with Kiya is because on this podcast, you will be sure to find me and maybe a guest star. Maybe I'll bring my friends or people on to the podcast, and it'll be like a little chit chat. I feel like that would be fun. I want to do that. Or mainly it's just like me talking about my morals. LOL. Actually, no. Let me not say that, because honestly, if I heard someone start off their podcast with, this is gonna be me talking about my morals and ideals, I would okay. Okay, I'm gonna click off. I'm gonna go find something else to listen to. Not really my morals, just like what I think. That's like the simplest way to put it, and I feel like I could say it better, but I don't think there is a way to say it better. I'm gonna talk about how I think, what I think, because so often I have these train of thoughts where I'm like, oh, I want to share this with someone. Oh, too bad it's 3 a.m. and everyone's asleep in my house. Yeah, so I just feel like I have so many thoughts to share, and I want to share them because I think they're interesting. And if they're not interesting, they're funny. I think I'm funny. I think I'm a comedian. Yes, I think I'm a comedian, and I feel like that's kind of a self-centered thing to say. However, it's not self-centered to be funny. It's not self-centered to make it's not self-centered to make people laugh. You know why I think I'm funny? Because I make myself laugh. I make a joke and I'm laughing before you even laugh. Before I even finish the joke, I'm already laughing because I just find it so incredibly funny. And sometimes I'll record myself saying things, literally basically recording a podcast episode snippet of just me talking nonsense. And I listen back sometimes and I go, I'm funny as hell. Oh my gosh, I'm funny. Like it's kind of like that one trend on TikTok where it's like oh, when I accidentally found out I could sing. That's how I feel when I watch my videos back. I go, I'm actually funny. I think I'm hilarious. I should put that out there. I think I'm hilarious. And if you don't like people who think they're funny, you should leave. Yep. Whoa, I said it. That was kind of harsh, but real though. If you don't like people who think they're funny, I don't really understand that, but this is not the podcast for you, because I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be having a good time. I'm going to be staring at the camera, which is really awkward. Anything else about me? Oh yeah, I share my dog. I have a dog. She's outside right now. Probably. Actually, not probably. She most definitely is outside, because I would see her right now. And I mentioned her earlier in the episode because there was a bunny outside the window. In the yard. In the front yard. Minding its business. And this, I'm asleep. Mind you, we got back from our 2-mile walk. Almost like so close to 2 miles. Okay? I'm sitting on my phone and I go, I'm tired. So I go and I lay down and I fall asleep. And then I wake up to the sound of her barking. I go, what are you barking at? And I look outside. There's nothing outside. A car comes and I'm like, it's kind of going kind of slow. I was like, is she barking at the car? She's never done that. And then I look down and it's a bunny. It's a literal bunny. And I go, Nala, shut up. What are you barking at? Okay, so that I close the curtain. I go, okay, no more window for you. Go lay down or something. I know you're tired because my legs were feeling it after that walk. And she's like 7 months old. So I know your legs are feeling it too. And the bunny, I keep pointing over here because if you're watching, I keep pointing over here because that's where the window is. And the bunny, I look back outside. The bunny is gone. Mind you, the bunny is gone. Picture that. The bunny has left. I don't know where the bunny went. And she's still barking. She goes to the kitchen. She barks. Comes back over here. She barks. I'm like, okay, now you're just barking at nothing. She goes to the back door. She barks. She goes back to the window. Again, bunny is gone. She's barking. She's barking. Her hackles are up. I'm like, dude, chill out. So I grab her and I just hug her. I just sit there and I go, we're gonna calm down. And she's literally like growling and like doing like little like small barks as I'm holding her. And I go, why? And then she's like, okay. She's like trying to get out. I was like, okay, we're done now, right? Because she goes quiet for a little bit. She goes and barks. I'm like, whoo. I open the door and I go, take it outside. Take your barking and go outside. And she barks a little outside and then she stops barking. I go, my eyes twitching. I go, dude, what? Like, what was that for? What was the reason? And then she comes back in. She goes to the window and then she starts barking again. I go, if the bunny was here, it'd be in the backyard. That's where they live. But no, you want to come inside, go to the window and start barking. You must not like me, bro. And I had a cookies, like Chips Ahoy. I had those and they were sitting right next to me. She looks at them and she goes to the window and barks. I go, wow. She just missed her I wasn't going to give her the cookie, obviously, but she goes, she just walks past the chance that maybe she could get food. I was actually baffled. Genuinely. I was baffled. She ended up stops. She ended up what am I saying? She ended up stopping barking. She stopped barking. She stopped barking and she stops barking and I tell her, I was like, go lay down. I'm done. Because the whole reason for the walk was to get her energy out. I don't know where she's getting it. She's like, I don't know where she's getting all this energy, but it's I'm done. I'm done. I'm sick of it. But I love her. She's cute. She's my dreams. I've dreamed of having a dog since forever. And we got her in January. So a lot of things happened in January. I thought to start a podcast. I got a dog. That's pretty much it. More about me, I guess, is I mentioned track, so I'll talk about that. I play sports. That's the best way to put it. I just play sports like for fun. Honestly, not too serious, so don't go looking my stats. I'm kidding. I don't care. They're not bad. They just could be better. Period. But I play volleyball, basketball, flag football, and track. That's what I do. I run track. I play the other 3 sports. I don't know why I'm saying that. I love volleyball. That I would call volleyball my main sport. So I don't know why I'm pushing it aside like that. My one true love, volleyball. But yeah, I play volleyball. I'm an outside hitter in volleyball / middle blocker if I need to be, but I prefer the outside, and I love it. And I love volleyball. I don't know. I said that like it was a sad thing. I love volleyball. Yay! And it's currently May, so volleyball summer is starting up. Summer volleyball starting, and I'm so excited. I just love it. I just love volleyball. Yeah. But I think that's gonna be it from me. I said I was going to keep this short, so I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't really have a uploading schedule for the podcast yet. I'll figure that out, and once I do, it will be up on my Instagram. So here is the plug for all the social media outlets. You can find me on Instagram at Talks with Kiya, on TikTok also at Talk with Kiya, and on YouTube at Talks with Kiya, and then find my podcast, the audio versions, on Spotify at Talks with Kiya. Again, thanks for listening. Hope you come back for the next episode. Please come back. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.